one of my, I guess, pet peeves, and this is not your fault or anything, but there's a lot of, I think, general misunderstanding the general public, even the Christian public, has about archaeology. And when we think about great discoveries, we think of like the Ark of the Covenant, or some other great discovery. Where what I want to say to my average Christian brothers is that the mundane, just everyday things that are found are little small pieces of the puzzle that actually carry great weight in making the case for the historical reliability of the Bible. So I'm not trying to dismiss your question, because it's a great question. And to give you an answer, a direct answer to the question, in 2014 in my square, we were digging at a site called Khirbet El Maqader, which basically is in the West Bank. It's right across the main road going into the city of Ramallah, which is the Palestinian territory, and it is what we believe to be the ancient city of Ai. It's pronounced I. I was corrected because for years I'd called it AI, but I was told again and again, it's I. Just say like iPhone, iPad. So just for future reference, if you want to, it's I want to say AI, but it's I. So we believe it's the city of Ai, and that city was destroyed by Joshua and the Israelites in about 1401 BC. And so I was digging in square Q10 at Khirbet El Maqader, and so in my square, we found a lot of pottery that dates to the Canaanite period. The day that I left, my buddy that is now teaching at Yale University, his name is Matt Glassman. Matt actually found in our square, he found two Canaanite sling stones and 2 bronze arrowheads. So this is from the time of Joshua and the Israelites.
Nice.
So that's my only thing. I didn't find it. Matt did, so I'm mad at him. So,
but that's good to know, though. Is like archaeology is more of like the cumulative case. You're getting all these small pieces to create that bigger picture of this is what life was like at this certain time, and then we take the Bible and we say, now the way the Bible describes life during whatever time period, does that match up with what we're finding here? That's probably actually, by God's plan, right? That it's better than just like that one piece, of evidence, because then somebody may doubt, well, it's one piece and people are saying it's good, but what if it's not good? And you're going to hang everything on that one piece of evidence.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Archaeology is a cumulative case. It is a vital part, I think, of a historical apologetics. In addition to the philosophical arguments and the arguments from the reliability of the text itself, there's really good arguments that are made by people like Mike Licona and Gary Habermas and Dr. Daniel Wallace and other great scholars. But archaeology, I think, is a very strong ally for the historical reliability of the text. Give you one example: the book of Isaiah. Now, critical scholars and liberals will say that Isaiah was actually written late. According to the Old Testament timeline, we think that Isaiah was written at about the 8th century BC. So we're talking about the 700s BC, 700 years before Christ. But again, liberal scholars would say it was written much, much later, and probably not just by Isaiah. In fact, it was very likely not written by Isaiah, they say. It was written by multiple writers, and that it's written very late.
And when real quick, when you say late, just because it's hard sometimes for people in BC time, when you say late, you mean closer to the time of Christ.
Yes, much closer to the time of Christ. In fact, probably they would say it was very likely not written by Isaiah. But two things actually argue very strongly that Isaiah is legit historically. Number one, the Dead Sea Scrolls, they found the complete scroll of Isaiah that had no chapter and verse divisions between chapters 39 and chapters 40. Because one of the things they would say, liberal scholars would say, that the first part of Isaiah was written by one writer, and then the second part was written by 4 or 5 different other writers. Whereas we've got even by liberal standards, we've got the complete scroll of Isaiah, the Dead Sea Scrolls, at minimum 200 to 300 years before Christ, and there's no chapter and verse divisions in between chapters 39 and chapters 40. So that's just the textual evidence. But not only do we have the textual evidence, we have the archaeological evidence that firmly grounds it, I believe, in the 8th century BC. We've got things like the Sennacherib Prism that's found in, there's actually 3 copies that we know of. One is in the British Museum. One is here in Chicago at the Oriental Institute Museum. and the other one is in the British Museum called the Taylor Prism. And this is a prism written in Akkadian cuneiform that basically says exactly what the Old Testament says about the destruction of the city of Lachish, and also the siegement of Jerusalem in the book of Isaiah. So, and again, I'm just scratching the surface here because there's so much more to it. But we know very much about the Neo-Assyrian Empire, and whoever wrote Isaiah was an eyewitness to the Neo-Assyrian Empire and knew it very well, and knew their policies, and knew their kings, and knew their, how they did things. And so we believe that it's written. And then not only that, we've got Jerusalem. You can actually go to Jerusalem. In the Old Testament, in the book of Isaiah, it says that King Hezekiah, because he knew that this Assyrian king was going to besiege Jerusalem, he actually did two things in preparation for the besiegement. He dug a water channel under Jerusalem that was discovered in the 1800s. It's called the Siloam Tunnel. And there was an inscription found called the Siloam Tunnel inscription. And the second thing he did was he broadened the walls of Jerusalem to about 23 to 26 feet thick, because the Assyrians were the bad dudes of the ancient world, and they were experts in siege warfare. So Hezekiah knew they were coming. So in the 8th century BC in Jerusalem, we've got the broad wall of Hezekiah that's been excavated by archaeologists. So I would say that we have archaeology and historical reliability, and they go hand in hand, and they work as a cumulative case.
Have you ever noticed that it's never enough for certain people?
Yeah, exactly. It's never enough.
Yeah, I mean, you could build this entire cumulative case and say, like, everything points to it. There's nothing that points against it, and they would still come up with something, or for some reason to deny it, but it's important for people to know, is that this isn't like a blind faith sort of a thing. The Bible is an actual historical document, and everything that we look at, every time we pull something out of the ground, we're finding more and more confirmation. Yep. And like you said, you breeze through like 100 things there. And we could spend a podcast on each one of those.